저는 오늘 오프닝을 맡은 서울성모병원의 박정욱입니다. 반갑습니다. 이렇게 토요일 날 아주 바쁘신 와중에도 이렇게 자리를 이렇게 참석해 주신 여러 선생님들께 다시 한번 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 저희가 이제 오늘 9월 중순에 날짜를 잡은 거는 이렇게 더운 날을 피해 가지고 시원할 때 이렇게 선생님들을 만나 뵙고 싶어서 오늘로 이제 날짜 9월 중순으로 날짜를 잡았는데 더위가 아직도 다 가시지 않은 것 같습니다. 그래서 조금 날씨에 조금 아쉬운 면이 없지 않아 있긴 한데요. 이제 걱정스러운 건 이 더위가 이제 앞으로 더 더워질 거라는 그런 예측들이 많이 나와서 아주 매우 이제 걱정스러운 면이 없지 않아 있습니다. 그래서 저희가 이런 기후 변화에 조금 더 관심을 가져야 되지 않을까라는 생각이 조금 듭니다. 오늘 자리는 저희가 이제 소위 프루카라고 얘기하는 지 레코딩 시스템을 사용하는 유저들의 어떤 경험과 노하우, 지식을 서로 이렇게 공유하는 그런 자리를 위해서 이렇게 마련됐습니다. 그래서 네, 외우려고 그랬는데 이게 다 못 외웠네요, 제가. 그래서 뭐 잘 아시겠지만 이 G 레코딩 시스템이 이제 시장에 나와 있는 이런 EP 레코딩 시스템에서 가장 안정성이 높고 그다음에 유저의 어떤 편의성이 높은 장비라는 거에 대해서는 뭐 여기 계신 분들 모두 다 이견이 없으시리라 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 그런 것들은 어떤 G가 이런 제품을 개발하고 하는 데 있어서 많은 노력과 공을 들인 결과라고 이런 생각이 들고요. 그다음에 이런 오늘 같은 유저 미팅을 만들어 주시는 이런 자리 또한 여기 계신 선생님들의 어떤 의견과 이런 것들을 제품을 개발하고 하는 데 있어서 반영하기 위한 노력이라고 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 오늘 이 자리를 통해서 많은 것들을 경험하고 그다음에 공유했으면 좋겠습니다. 아젠다를 보셔서 아시겠지만 오늘 내용들은 실제 저희가 EP 프로시저 하는 데 있어서 도움이 될 만한 그런 것들로 많이 준비를 했습니다. 그래서 이렇게 강의 들으시면서 서로 얘기도 많이 하시고 좋은 얘기 많이 나눴으면 좋겠습니다. 그리고 오늘 이 프로그램을 이 자리를 만든 데 있어서 여러 선생님들이 도움을 많이 주셨는데 특히 저희 부정맥 기술인의 교육부장님이신 우리 강남 세브란스 병원의 신영준 학술 이사님께서 많이 도움을 주셨습니다. 그리고 여기 자리를 마련해 주신 지희와 신한시스텍 모든 분들께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 그러면 식사를 하시면서 편하게 강의를 들으시면 되겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for inviting me here today. I apologize, I'm speaking in English, not in Korean. However, hopefully I can share some things with you, some things that are very obvious and you already know, some things you may not have recognized with the products that we provide, and some little sneaks into the future. I must start off by pointing out the obvious. I'm very old, all right? Unfortunately, I started working in the cardiac catheter labs before many of you were born. I have been in the cardiac area as a coronary care specialist nurse since 1983 and was working in the cardiac cath lab from 85 to 93. I said, before many of you were born. These are the good old days and the bad old days. In the bad old days, when I was in the cath lab, we used to have the printout. We used to print out reams and reams of paper, 200 millimeters a second. And then at the end of the case, the doctor's work was only starting. He would go back to the room with the calipers, measuring the distances. Nowadays, it's all automatic on the screen. And the technician is doing the work for them on the screen as well. So we've turned into a green area. For the nurses, my work started when the case had finished. I removed the patient from the table. Then I had to clean out the stone with the blue dye that we use to print out the paper. So very, very difficult. And that's why in those days, we still had the plumbers versus the electricians in the cardiology department. You had the interventionalists doing the coronary arteries. You had the EP doctors doing the EP. We had to restrict ourselves to Friday afternoons. That was the only area we could get into the lab. They would give us the time. Now you are seeing the change in that tide. The number of cases we're doing in electrophysiology has greatly increased. We are not just doing diagnostic studies for VT, etc. We are doing the therapeutic interventions, much, much more common. And we are adding more and more labs, not for the hemo, but for the EP specifically. And so the technology is changing dramatically every year, and people are saying, why do you keep bringing out a new version? It's because places like the Asia Pacific Heart Rhythm Society bring out new techniques, new technologies. Why don't you have this on your system? There you are. The wish list is very long, and we continue to reduce it year by year. All right, but it does mean that we bring out new versions. So if we look at the products that we use today, so we've got the three main systems, and it doesn't want to go. Helps if you turn the button on. So the three main systems we have are the MacLab, which is the hemo only. We have the Cardio Lab, which is EP only. And then we have the Combo Lab, where you do EP and hemo. You don't get drinks and chips with that. All right, just EP and hemo. The features that we have in the products change dramatically over the years. So you see version 6.9 and also 6.95, 6.96, many of you are still using. It still has a lot of very strong features in it. But each year we bring out a new version, or every few years we bring out a new version. Altix was first released about 5 or 6 years ago in other areas of the world, but it wasn't released in Korea at that time. That was what we call CE marked. So the regulatory bodies choosing the European registration. They couldn't sell it in America. So in America, they brought out the BT21. So the BT21 was the Americans' first sight of the Altix. And you see, we brought out more and more new features. Now we've released the BT22. Again, a lot more features. The ones you can see in bold are those that have been brought about because of the new amplifier. Instead of an analog amplifier, we have a digital amplifier. So we can greater quality of signals and the ability to remove a lot of the noise, which is the biggest problem in the EP lab, is getting rid of the noise but still being able to see the signals. So a lot of features, a lot of capabilities. In Korea, in a lot of foreign language areas, they don't use all the capabilities because it's not in the local language, such as the textual reports. You would prefer to obviously have it in Korean. Today, unfortunately, it's only in English. But there are still many, many other features in there to make it a valuable tool in the cardiac cath lab and in the EP lab. The Pruka 3 amplifier, as I said, it was originally released about 2.5 years ago. It caused a lot of heartache initially because it was a totally different platform. But we resolved those quite quickly. We took ownership of it, and now it's widely accepted around the world as one of the best amplifiers you have because of the ability to clean out that noise and give you a better signal. Getting rid of that noise is our main issue around the world, and that's what we try aim and bring out new features so that we can give you a clear signal so that you've got clear ideas to have we made an improvement for this patient. We've got the other amplifier for the other features such as SpO2, non-invasive blood pressure. We call this the patient data module. Many labs, if they're just doing EP, won't even use that. They'll use maybe an anesthetic machine if they're anesthetizing the patient to capture that data. The new keyboard, the technicians either love it or hate it. They love it because it's easier to see. The old keyboard was great if you wanted to let the doctor know you were upset, because you go clack, 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 clack. Very noisy keyboard. Now, the technicians, if they try that with this keyboard, they will break their fingers before they let the doctor know they're upset. It won't make any noise. So a lot of the technicians don't like that anymore. So we're changing it again. You get a little clack, not a big one, all right? But we're trying to make everybody happy with the solutions that we're bringing forward. One of the other features is barcode scanning. So especially in private hospitals, they need to keep track of which inventory, which product they use during the case. You could add that into your MacLab. It's a part of the basic system where you can keep track of which catheters, which balloons you use during a procedure. Instead of just having a single real-time display, you now have the ability to have two real-time displays. So you can have one, which is your scrolling waveform, and the second one you can have as a triggered waveform. So you have the best of both worlds at the same time, which is not available in the 695, 696. In addition to having dual real-time, you also have cycle length identification. So it will tell you beat by beat in real time in up to 11 channels what is the cycle length. And the cycle length is using the algorithm to identify beat by beat similarity. All right, so it's not going to count an ectopic beat. It's going to miss that over because it uses the pattern matching technique. You can have up to 5 review windows open at the same time. You can name them individually. So if you wanted to store a particular morphology of an ectopic that you saw, you can save it and keep it. But we want to not just keep it, we want to make use of that information. Maybe one was a morphology before ablation, the other one is afterwards. Is it the same? Is it different? So we use ClearMatch. So it will automatically compare one stored beat against another. And it will tell you what the percentage is of that being exactly the same beat. It will tell you on a channel by channel basis, and it will tell you the overall count. So you can see, is that the same morphology or not? Or has it changed? These are all tools that we've brought in to try and make life a lot easier in the lab and to try and assist you with that faster processing that you're having to do, trying to get those extra patients through the system, but without making the mistakes. The filtering has changed dramatically with that new digital Pruker amplifier to try and make it easier for you to get a clear signal. The fixed filter used to be called the Notch filter. Now we have the Notch Plus, or the fixed filter plus, which not only cancelled out the 60 hertz, but also the harmonic noises. So 60, 120, 180, 240. It will take out all of those. But you need to be very careful where you use it. You don't use it on a hiss signal because it's like hitting the waveform with a sledgehammer. It is going to completely obliterate the hiss signal. You will not be able to see it. So you do need to be cautious on which channels you turn it on or turn it off. Again, we're trying to make it easier for you. We're not trying to make it more complex, but we're trying to make sure you can still see those signals. And this is also, we have the adaptive filter. So the adaptive filter will do pattern matching over a period of time and slowly remove the noise that's in there, but give you the best possible morphology on the signal. Again, so it's a lot easier for you to see what signals you're working with. The automatic measurements that we would capture, your baseline measurements. These are all features that we've added into the system to make it a lot easier for you and a lot quicker for the technicians in the background to get those measurements captured. But wait, there's more. Altix AI. So the Altix AI is a new product. We can't promote most of the features to you here because it's still waiting on KFDA approval. Okay? But the Altix AI allows us to share with a mapping company called Volta. Volta is in Europe. Today, they only sell in about 4 countries in Europe and in the USA. And we partnered with them last year, or the start of this year. So we are using their technology, and we're bringing that information into the cardio lab to give you better dispersion measurements after you've done your ablations and see, have we captured the right area of tissue or not? Volta is not going to be available in Asia for maybe 2 years. So it's, oh, great. Cardiolab can connect with it, but it's useless to me, right? But some of the other features that we have with the AI, the automatic features, they are in the system. Even though you're not using the Volta system, you still have new capabilities of measuring and also clearing up the signals during a case. They will be available, and we're expecting that to be available in Korea in Q1 next year. So even though you don't have Volta, you don't have a lot of the features. One thing that AI has over me is it looks sexy. Instead of having the 2 displays, you just have one 48-inch curved cockpit display. Now, the real estate inside the control room is like the real estate in Hong Kong. There is no space for all these extra displays, all right? You go to some hospitals, you can't see the patient over all the monitors that are in there. The beauty of having this display is that it uses the same technology as inside the lab, the large displays. So you can bring inputs from different devices. But that's for the control room. It's not in the lab. So in the lab, you already have that capability on your X-ray screen. So in that case, why pay the extra money for that big display when you don't need it? So a lot of the hospitals in the AKA region, which is ASEAN, ANZ, Korea, I'm promoting that we still use the 2 single displays so that we can easily fit them in the lab and it doesn't artificially increase the price. Because that's a problem. When you go to this type of technology, the price goes up. You still have all the other capabilities and the other features. It's just that you can't bring in all these extra images and display them on the one screen. That's as far as I can go with that, I'm afraid. But just to say thank you very much for your attention. Kamsahamnida. Thank you.